Thomas Jefferson. So here's a quote, Founding Father quote number 957 from foundingfatherquotes.com. To persevere the freedom of the human mind and freedom of the press, every spirit should be ready to devote itself to martyrdom. For as long as we may think as we will and speak as we think, the condition of man will proceed in improvement. I just thought that was a great one. I think freedom is the big one here in the United States. For those that have traveled outside the country, we could be in a worse place, maybe in North Korea, or all the crazy stuff going on in some of the South American countries. I think America, with all its black eyes and bruises and things, I think it's the better place to be, and why a lot of people still come here. So if you haven't voted already, please vote, because it is important to preserve what I think is one of the best traits in the United States is our freedom. So with that, I will pass the baton over to our general evaluator of the day, who is Miss Sarah Dawson, aka Awesome Dawson Cookies.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, as general evaluator, I get to do exactly what that says, is generally evaluate how the entire meeting goes. And evaluation is a super important part of the Toastmasters experience. Being able to hear constructive criticism, and also being able to hear this is what we do well is really a good part of what we do, because it makes us better and better as we're speaking. We can become better and better at what we do. So at the end, I'll give a general evaluation about how everything was run, things we might improve, things that we did well. I also get to have a team of people that help evaluate with me. And Sonia, are you taking on both grammarian and counter today?
Yes.
Okay, take it away. Why don't you tell us about grammarian and counter today?
So I am the grammarian today, and today's word of the day, which I saw in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is candidate, and it's a noun. Definition is one that aspires to be nominated or qualified for an office, membership, or award. Or the second definition is one likely or suited to undergo or be chosen for something specified. The sentence that I have is, no modern presidential election has been decided by campaign spending. That is because both candidates always have enough cash to achieve the single main point of it, near universal name recognition among voters in the dozen or fewer swing states that determine the outcome. And that is from The Economist from September 19th of this year. So that is our word of the day. So I will be listening to see who uses the word of the day today. And so I am also, next role, thank you. The next role I have is counter. So the purpose of counter is to record everybody's crutch words, like, so, yeah, I know, because I was told is my favorite one. So I will be looking for those crutch words today, and I'll report back on that. So don't kill the messenger, please.
Thank you for helping us in that evaluation process and being better, Sonia. Thank you. Our next role is timer, which is back to Joey Myers.
Thank you, Sarah. And to be a candidate for Toastmasters, one of the skills that we learn here is to get better at time and timing of speeches. And when you're talking, something I'm still working on. Most of you here can contend to that. So I will use the timer, which is a stopwatch app type thing that I can click it to a speech, and it'll give, if you can see those colors, if I can get this in the right. There's green for Winnie's speech today. She's going to be doing her icebreaker. So her speech is going to be, she's going to get green at 4. She's going to get the yellow light at 5, and she's going to get the red light at 6. And then we'll have for the table topics will be 1 to 2 minutes. So you get green at 1, you'll get yellow at 1.5, and then you'll get red at 2 minutes. And then the evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll get 2 will be green, yellow 2:30, and red at 3, wanting to wrap it up. So I will be timing our speaker, Winnie. I will be timing our evaluator, which is, I think, me. And then our table topics, all of the speakers are going to go there. So that is the timer roll.
Thank you, Joey. And our final one is Zoom Master. Farron, back to you.
Thank you. As Zoom Master, I am recording the meeting, and every time somebody speaks, not every time, but our main speakers and our evaluators, I try to spotlight their videos so that when we do upload this to YouTube later, they will show up nice and big with everyone else kind of small on the screen. In the meantime, we're all in Brady Bunch mode, and that is my job as Zoom Master.
Thank you, Farron. And it looks like lots of people have multiple roles today. So we are back to Joey again for Toastmaster to introduce the next speakers. Thanks, Joey.
Thank you, Sarah. And today I'm happy to introduce Winnie. This is her, I think, second time giving or third time giving her icebreaker. She wants to really practice on her English as well as her Toastmaster skills that she's building. So a little bit about Winnie, introduction right here. She sent this to me. So our speaker this afternoon is speaking from Pathways Level 1, project number 1, the icebreaker. So Brent, this is what the first speech that you'd be given, a little bit about yourself. The goal of this speech is to stand in front of an audience and deliver 4 to 6 minute speech. The speaker is going to share her life experience moving from China to the United States and the challenges of learning a new language. The title of the speech is Changing Lifestyle. Please help me welcome Winnie Gao. I hope I got that right. Changing Lifestyle, Winnie Gao.
Fellow Toastmaster, most welcome guests. My name is Winnie. I would like to share about why I came to America and why I joined Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters to improve my English abilities because English is the biggest obstacle for me right now. It is difficult to talk with other people fluently. That made me sad most of the time. I have been seeking and speaking and how to be confident. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would like to ask you a question. How long does it take for your commute every day? If it lasts 1 hour, please raise your hand. Thank you. If it more than 1 hour, please raise your hand. I guess no one here. Okay, thank you. Can you imagine I needed 2 hours to travel from home to work every day when I live in Beijing? That means I needed a total 4 hours to travel back and forth. When I graduated college, I lived in Beijing, China. I thought Beijing, being a big and busy city, would be a place to realize my dreams. I was working really hard for my job. I could not stop 1 minute to enjoy my life. When I had my first baby, I realized that I did not have time to take care of him because I had to work overtime every day. My husband and I knew we needed to change our lifestyle. At this moment, I have a friend invited us to America. It was a good opportunity to move here. However, the new life was not easy. I could not speak English, even a word. I'd listen to others as well. At the first 2 years, I just needed to stay at home to take care of my kids. So I have an excuse to tell myself, you do not need to learn English at all. Your job But as children grew up, I realized that I have to face my obstacles. I have to communicate with their doctors and teachers. I have to help their educations. I would like to further education myself. To learn an English Bible. Also, I think a better English can help me make a friend in church, school, and work. I appreciate I can come to America to experience to different lifestyle, thinking, people, and language. I appreciate that I can join Toastmaster to improve my English and get everyone's help. I'm no longer a commuter anymore, and I have time for my children. I enjoy my time and getting better with Toastmasters. I want to improve myself. That way, my children have a role model to follow. Learning a new language is not easy, but I won't give up. No matter what happens in life and learning new skills, both passion and patience are required to keep moving forward. Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you, Winnie. Thank you very much. That was great. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the progress of your speeches as you go through. I know you joined recently with us and been on a couple guests, as a guest here with our club, and we're all really looking forward to seeing your improvement. So thank you, Winnie, for sharing that icebreaker with us. All right, we have one speech today. Oh, you know what? And I forgot because I was doing multiple roles. I didn't even time you. So we'll give you a pass on that, Winnie. So, but I think you were pretty good there. I think you were within that 4 to 6 minute time. At least it felt that way. 5 minutes. Oh, no, 6. Right at Denny. So right at 6 minutes. So Denny got you. So thanks, Denny, for doing that. So since you are our only speech today, we're going to move on to our table topics portion of the meeting, which will be Farron Jacobson, and she'll give a little rendition of what that all entails. Farron?
Yes, we are going to do table topics now. Table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches that are impromptu. I will ask some questions. You can pick from any one of those questions or anything kind of related to the theme and answer it on the fly. It helps us to improve our speaking skills as if we were being interviewed and had to come up with something on the spot. Today, we'll go with the theme of Election Day, and we try not to get very political in our club. So I came up with a few fun questions. Hopefully we don't get too crazy with it. And I wanted to see if anyone wanted to volunteer, and then I'll give you the question so that it's really impromptu. You don't know what's coming. Any takers? If not, I can ask the question. Denny?
I will. You bet. So just impromptu?
Yes, I have a question for you. Here are some presidential campaign slogans from the past. Make America Great Again, Feel the Burn, Forward Together, Change, Hope, Putting People First. And I found one from 1932 from FDR, Happy Days Are Here Again. If you ran for president, what would your slogan be and why?
Wow. Why would anyone vote? I'll tell you why. I'm a grandmother, a mother. I have a business. I have dogs, a husband. I have a busy life. I don't have time for this. Politics is messy and mean and all of those things. You don't want to look at it. It's like blood and guts. It's terrible. However, it's just like the inside of our body. You don't really want to look at it, but it runs everything. Because of that, it's important to get involved enough to vote. No matter who you vote for, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to each individual. But no matter who you vote for, it's important to participate. Otherwise, I have no right to complain about one thing if I don't vote. And I want to be able to complain. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay, Denny. I liked your answer.
All right, so anyone else can go with that one, which is if you ran for president, what would your slogan be and why? But I also have 3 other questions. So if you want one of the other ones.
I'll go next.
Sonia, do you want that question or do you want a new one?
I'll take a new one.
If you could elect one person from our club, Fresno City Toastmasters, to be president of the United States, who would you pick and why?
You know what? Honestly, right now, I would have to say Denny because of her answer she just gave. Her answer was honest, and I really did admire that. And you're right, Denny. And it just made me think about more about my political views. So yeah, I would choose Denny. Denny for president.
The one thing I would never do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next.
But thank you.
Anyone else? I have 2 more questions, or you can take one of the others.
If nobody else wants to, I'll go, but I didn't know if any new people or Brent or anybody wants to go first. I don't mind.
Awesome cookies.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a new question then.
All right. Well, this might not apply, but we'll see. Did you ever run for an office in the student body in kindergarten through 12th grade? And what was the experience like?
In junior high, I applied for, or I started to run for some office. I don't even remember which one it was, but there was just nobody else running for it. So I'm like, well, I might as well. Let's just see what this is like. I started the experience. I started going, and it was kind of interesting. And then somebody else decided to run, and I really liked him. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be running anymore. I'll just vote for him. So it was. So then it became super awkward, and then I'm like, oh no. Like when people ask, I'm like, oh no, just I don't. Yeah, I just kind of just set it aside and like, you should vote for him instead. So it was yeah, very interesting and different experience.
So did you win?
I would never want to do it again.
Who won, Sarah?
Oh, he did. It's not a very good campaign strategy, that's for sure.
For sure. I have just one other question, or you can pick any of the other 3. Would anyone else like to try? Storm. Would you like a new question?
Storm.
New question.
All right. The last one is, what motivates you to go out and vote?
This is all political right here. So there's a couple things that helps me motivate myself to go out and vote is there's not enough voters out there. And I think that if you're in a profession where the president that is elected has a direct impact on what you do in the area, I worked in oil fields for a couple of years. So if I vote for someone like Joe Biden, I know that he's going to stop fracking. My work line would slow down. But on the other half, he's all for green energy and stuff like that, more solar, more wind farms and stuff like that. So I think that voting is one of those things that will either help or hurt you in the end. If you don't vote, then it's kind of out of your hands, and you're letting someone else choose for you. That's what a lot of people do is they let the choices be left up to other people's, like their employers or bosses. So if your boss is a president, I was like, well, might as well just vote, right? And that's what I've got.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back on. Okay, thank you, Storm. Anybody else like to try? We just have those 4 questions. I can go back over them if you'd like. The first one was, if you ran for president, what would your slogan be and why? Did you ever run for office in a student body in K through 12? What was the experience like? If you could elect one person from Fresno City Toastmasters to be president, who would it be? And what motivates you to go out and vote? Any other takers? Okay, Joey.
I'll go Farron. So I'm going to try and talk about politics, religion, and aliens all at the same time.
Woohoo!
I just got done, start my timer. I just got done reading a book called Live Not by Lies, a really good book. And it was about the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, which created a lot of Christian dissidents, meaning it pushed the church underground because the Bolsheviks, the true blue communists, true red communists, didn't like church, didn't like any of that kind of stuff. So they pushed a lot of the Christian dissidents, the Catholics, Muslims underground. So what they did was they created small groups while the preachers, the pastors, and all the other leaders of pastor were being arrested and they were being tailed wherever they went, put in jail and things like that. They did was they put these small groups together underground. These small groups ended up growing until eventually it actually overthrew the communist regime. So I really like what the motivation that gets me to vote is to not only decide who I want to vote for, but also with the idea that I have a little individual perspective or unique perspective where I have my faith in God and Jesus. And whoever gets it, it doesn't really matter because I don't look to a human being as my leader. And the Christian dissident movement during the Bolsheviks really gives a lot of pride, gives a little bit more hope as whoever you vote for, that things are going to be okay after the fact. And where aliens come in, that I hope that whoever's going to be president unlocks all the top secret alien stuff, because I think that stuff's so fascinating. So there you go. I got politics, religion, and aliens all in the same thing.
Nice, Joey.
That was good.
Can we just vote for an alien?
I think both of them are aliens, aren't they?
Well, what was it? Someone was telling me that Elon Musk was an alien, so let's vote for him, right?
All right.
We have time for everyone to go.
Mhm.
Winnie, Brent, Taylor.
You don't have to, Brent, but if you want. Does Taylor want to jump in? She's unofficial official today. I got her application. I got my hands on it.
I'm not official yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess wait, what was the last question? Why it's important to vote?
What motivates you personally to vote?
I would say that throughout my early 20s, I was just kind of blissfully unaware, and lately in my mid and late 20s, I've become more of an active voter, and I think it shows that you care about your community. So that's why I vote, and I like to focus on local elections rather than national elections, which are big and scary and kind of hard to relate to. So I like to focus on my local folks.
Awesome. Good job. All right. Winnie or Brent or anyone else can take a second question if you like.
I'll go ahead and
Brent?
address that question of why would you like to vote. If you look at history throughout our nation's creation, a lot of people have died for their rights. I know looking back through history with the Civil War and some minorities and their inability to vote, whether it be women, people of color, voting has been very important to them, and they have made a lot of sacrifices. And not only that, but also letting our kids see that it's our civic duty and responsibility to vote. You might not agree with everyone, but it's your duty to basically have your voice heard for everyone. So anyway, that's some of the reasons I think it's very important to vote.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brent.
That was good.
I can try.
Okay, go ahead.
Winnie?
What is the what's this question? What's the motive?
Yes, what
Vote.
motivates you to go out and vote?
Yeah, I think about this. I'm not the citizen right now, but I think the motive, if I'm the citizen, I think it's really cool because you have the right. You are the part of the country. You consider the country. You can consider your right. You consider how to. I care about my country. I care about myself. How to make our country better and better. That's my motive. I can't say this word. Yeah, I think it's the most important for me. I have the right. That's the most important. I care about everything. And it doesn't matter I vote which president. Thank you.
Awesome. Good job. All right, we can move on to evaluations if that's okay. Maybe end a little bit early today.
All right, I guess that's me. We'll start with, let's see, Farron, are you doing the evaluation? Oh, Joey is. Joey, you're doing the evaluation of Winnie's speech. You want to go for it?
Yes, ma'am. All right, let me start the timer. All right, Winnie, first speech for the Fresno City Toastmasters group. And like I mentioned before, we're excited to hear you and see you progress through our Fresno City Toastmasters group. And I know you're going to be getting a lot of practice. I love that you're taking initiative to set up mentorships. I think a few of us here are going to help you out and help your English along with the Toastmasters itself. And then the other two groups that you belong to, I'm sure you're doing the same. And for somebody who in their speech talked about didn't know really much English coming here, you've come a long way. And I'm not quite sure how long you've been here since you moved over, but I think you've done a great job, and the English that you speak now is very understandable. Obviously there's some room to grow, but I mean, I think all of us here can say, hey, I pretty much understood most of that speech. So what you did very well, I really like, and again, in this virtual environment, having a virtual background is good. And depending on what you got behind you, I don't know, without that virtual background, if you'd have a big old giant lumber yard behind you, or if you'd have a gymnasium full of kids, or bookshelf, or whatever would normally be, you have it right now with that virtual background. It's nice and simple, it's clean, it looks good. So in your speech, you don't want to have a lot of distractions going on. You don't want, like Denny has told me, when I used to do it, I had the fan, you could see the fan in my video going overhead, and it's very distracting. So I've changed where I go. So virtual background, I think you did great eye contact. It looked like you had a little bit of notes, but that's okay in an icebreaker. I saw you glance over a few times, but for the most part, I'd probably say 70 to 80% of the time you were looking straight at that little pinhole in that laptop there. Like we felt like you were looking at all of us. Asking a question to the audience is a very good one. That is one I usually recommend to everybody, and maybe more in the what to challenge yourself on. I always like starting with the question. So I always say question. You always want to start with question or a quote or an anecdote. And an anecdote is just a simple story that will help to give us a frame mindset of what you're going to be talking about. So those are the three things you usually start with. You had it in there probably about a quarter of the way in. You asked the question and you had us raise our hands. So I thought that was great. And it was a very inspirational speech. We love hearing about where you're coming from and the challenges that you had to deal with. So I think there were a lot of really good things with this speech. And I know this is the second or third time that you've given it, and it's looking a lot more polished than I'm sure the first time you did it. What can you work on? I don't know if you were standing up, I couldn't tell, but maybe in the future, if you can, you may not be in an environment where you can stand up and give the speech, but that would just help to get you ready for when we do start meeting in person, just standing up and giving that speech. So that's just one little thing. Usually with these icebreakers, there aren't a lot of things that you're trying to do, but the three things you want to start to work on in your speech is the structuring of it. So we always say the first thing you want to do is tell them what you're going to tell them, which is the introduction. Tell them, which are the maybe 3 bullet points that you're going to talk about in your speech, which is the body of the speech, and then tell them what you just told them, which is the conclusion. So tell them what you're going to tell them what you just told them. This speech, I think you did a pretty good job of that, but maybe a little polishing on the conclusion side makes it a little easier to wrap everything up at the end about what you talked about, so we can remember everything that you talked on. And then with the challenge, like I said, the title was good, changing lifestyle. What I always tell our Toastmasters is to maybe start with a how to or how I changed my lifestyle might be a little bit better as a title to get you, or to get the audience into what you're going to talk about. But overall, I think you did a great job in this first speech, and I'm looking forward to some of the other ones. So thanks, Winnie.
Great job. Thank you, Joey. And I'm actually going to turn it right back over to you to give us the timer report.
All right, hot off the press here. Actually, we should have had this in front of me when I was giving it, because I looked down and it was red already. So before I spoil what my time was, I'm gonna write it down hot off the press for. Okay, so Winnie came in, thanks to Denny, at 6 minutes, which is perfect for our icebreaker speech. That's a speech between 4 to 6 minutes. Normal speeches are 5 to 7, but our icebreaker is 4 to 6. Our table topics, Denny came in at 1:12, so we have to be between the 1 to 2 minute mark. Denny came in at 1:12. Sonia, 22 seconds. Sarah, but she said she would vote for Denny as president, so that was nice. I think we can give her a couple more seconds on that. Sarah D, 1:01, she came in right on. Storm, 1:04. Joey, 1:41. Taylor came in at 38 seconds. Brent came in right at 1 minute, and Winnie came in at 51 seconds. So great work, everyone. And the evaluator, I came in a little too long. Like I said, timing for me, I'm still working on it. This was the red at 4:21. So I was supposed to come in 2 to 3 minutes. So that is the timing for today.
Thank you, Joey. And now we're going to go back over to Sonia for both the counter and the grammarian report.
Thank you. So for grammarian, today's word is candidate. And the only person I heard say it was Joey. I don't know if anybody else did, but Joey did. And then for counter, I don't have any crutch words to report from anybody today. So good job, everybody. Good job, Winnie. So
Wow, that was quick. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Sonia. Next up, it was me. I get to just tell a general evaluation of how everything went today. I think one of the great things about this club from the first day that I came was the timeliness of everything, and it just moves along. Joey, of course, love how you just jumped in, took over for Fran when she wasn't able to. I think adapting and timeliness are two of the things that we just tend to be very, very good at, and saw that again today. I am really looking forward to the new members, Taylor and Winnie, and maybe Brent someday pitching in and getting to jump in on some of these roles, because I know we had several of us had a couple different roles, so that would be great to have you guys all join us. But yeah, overall, I think it's gone pretty well, and I'll give it back to Farron. Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Joey, for jumping in for me. Sorry about the technology issues. It's just something that we have to deal with now that we're not meeting in person. And I think our club has handled it pretty well. It's not the first time that has happened. And I'm very thankful for our past president and current VP of E that can take over for me like that. We like to give virtual stickers out. And the first one goes to Winnie for her speech today. Congratulations on your icebreaker and great job. And then another virtual sticker, of course, to Joey for taking on multiple roles, and to Sonia for taking multiple roles. And then let's give one to Sarah too for doing general evaluator last minute. Thanks, everybody. And we can open it up to any questions, comments, or criticisms from guests, new members, old members. Anyone? We're good?
Brent, what'd you think?
Real good. I like the structure and the timing factor. I didn't know that was really part of speech giving, but it helps things move along and stay on point. I appreciate everybody's feedback.
Got it, Brent. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
How
Cool.
about our new members,
Well,
Taylor?
oh, sorry. Did I miss somebody? Taylor?
No, I was just going to say, how about some of the new members, Taylor? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought everyone very diplomatically discussed politics without discussing politics. So
Aliens.
yeah, everyone did really well.
We want everyone to come back next week.
Winnie?
Oh, I appreciate that everybody listen my speak. Yeah. Right now I'm getting better. It's not so nervous. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Good. That's good to hear. We will move right along with filling out next week's agenda. November 10th, the meeting theme is glass ceilings. I already have Denise down as Toastmaster, and then I have Taylor and Sonia giving speeches. Is that still good to go for both of you? Cool.
Yes.
And who would like to evaluate either Sonia or Taylor?
I can do that.
Denny, do you have a preference?
Either one is fine.
Okay. I'll put you down for Taylor, and then anyone like to evaluate Sonia next week?
I can.
Sarah? Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Table topics master, which is what I did today. Would anyone like to take that role?
So I can do that one, Farron.
Okay, thanks, Joey. General evaluator, which is Sarah's job today. No one. Storm, would you like a role? Do you have one in mind? You're
You're on
muted.
mute. There you go.
Either or. I should be here next week.
Okay. Would you like grammarian?
Sure.
All right, let's put you down as grammarian. I can be general evaluator. Timer or ah counter is what we still have open. Winnie?
I can do a counter.
Ah counter.
Ah, there we go.
All right, and timer.
It's not gonna let me back class. They want me in the first time and well, this time.
All right, I'll put myself down for timer, and then it might go to somebody else depending on who shows up next week. Cool. And then would anyone else like to speak? Oh, it looks like we have Joey and Chanel on November 17th, and then myself on November 24th. Denny, did you want to do the 24th since you didn't go today?
One question, when is Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
The 26th.
Are we meeting the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, or do we
So the
want to?
24th, probably not.
I'm not going to be available on the 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's
We'll
cancel
go
that
for
one.
the 24th?
Yeah, let's bump it.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then, Farron, you can probably put Chanel in for timer if you want. I'm
right.
assuming she's going to be here next week.
Yeah. Cool.
And since we got a little bit of time, did you want to talk a little bit about that report, the club report?
Oh.
Karen?
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Hold on.
Just any kind of bullet points or anything like that? Because Chanel had some pretty good observations.
Yeah. What Joey's talking about is we had our area club visit. So Sarah Tolmakoff, our area director, is that her title?
I think so.
Yeah, she came to a meeting, I don't remember when, several weeks ago. And she said basically that we're doing a really good job, that we welcome everyone who pops into the meeting right away. We have a really friendly environment. We're doing good with membership orientation, getting new members in and getting you your, just kind of like leading you right into membership here and getting you into pathways, things like that. I don't know, any other bullet points that stood
Let
out
me
to
pull up.
you? It's a huge
Yeah, let me pull up what
document.
Chanel had to say. Let me see if I can bring hers. Let's see. Chanel, whoop. Chanel said, so 2 points. So this is helpful feedback. 2 suggestions stood out to me: creating a digital guest packaged to welcome visitors to the club with more information, which typically when we meet in person, we have a packet, a paper packet that we hand out, but having a virtual one. And I think, I don't know who has access to that. Is that Denise? Whoever has access, we can turn that into PDF form, or if we have that on the computer, we can probably put that together. And making sure that we do forward the agendas to guests, which I think we're doing, are we, Farron? I think Denise is doing that, right?
Yeah, Denise is doing that.
Yeah, so we got that. So maybe having a packaged guest pack to welcome, like a virtual one. And then the second point was having a process to recognize milestones and achievements met. Each time someone completes a level, they should receive some sort of award recognition from the club, and something larger for completing a pathway. So those are just a couple of observations I thought were pretty good that Chanel came up with.
Right.
Just different. We're used to doing that in person, but having to adapt that to online is important too, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, but other than that, she had a lot of good comments. We're doing great as a small but mighty club and continuing to meet online, which has been a challenge for a lot of other clubs. And she thinks that we're doing a great job at it. And I agree.
Yeah.
Because we are.
Farron's doing great. Farron, our
Yay.
presidente. I only got a little bit of it, and Farron's got the whole thing. She's going to be dealing as president. She's got the whole COVID thing. So I think Farron's doing great.
Thank you.
Yes, you are.
All right. Any other comments or concerns, or we can wrap it up early?
Go vote.
Good to
Go
go.
vote.
Go vote.
Go vote. It's election day. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week, Tuesday.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.